back to trying to print that ghost print. Sorry, I've had to become an audio-visual guy all of a sudden. My wife built this kind of rig to get my phone over my head. Pretty cool. All right, so I'm just pulling my ghost, and like you can see, it's just kind of as described, very, very light, but that's actually a really kind of good thing to have. It's not a bad problem to have at all. And I also realized my screen is upside down. Sorry about that. If I try to change it, it's going to cause a delay, so I'll just leave it. As long as you guys can make sense of what I'm doing. So I'm going to go ahead and normally you want to, after you're done with this, you just clean it right off. I'm going to show you guys a couple other techniques using some of these patterns and textures that we got. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of ink up this block that I just used and use that as kind of just like a palette. And you can just use your piece of your glass, your plexiglass tray here, or your plastic tray as well for this. I'm just going to go ahead and roll up this whole piece of plastic black again. And just kind of show you a couple of tricks. Okay, so I have another sheet of plexiglass. This is going to be like plate that I actually need to print on. What I'm going to do is, for instance, I have a sheet of cardboard here. Used this once already. It has a really kind of interesting kind of texture to it. So this is going to be more of a positive way of working. So you're going to, or additive. So like I mentioned before, you could just go ahead and just start like right on the plate too. You can work that way. You can do either way. This subtractive or additive, working somewhere, something in between. But you can do this texture thing really easily this way, where you just kind of go over to this plate here that has just the ink, push down your texture, and then go ahead and press it back down to your glass here. You see, I get a little bit more than that. I might need to ink this up a little thicker. And some textures pick up ink better than others. Just kind of rub that down. Yeah, I'm gonna put more ink down. I think that'll help on my piece over here. I think it's just a little too thin. Try that one more time. Okay, so you can start to see how I got that texture from the cardboard. I'm going to go ahead and use this anti-skid fabric. This stuff is probably really absorbent, so this will probably pick up a lot more ink. So you can kind of see how that just created that pattern there. And obviously, the more ink that you have on the glass, the harder you push. And then you could also kind of use your spatula and maybe help you pick up some ink too. You can kind of push down in your plate with that. It might give you a little bit more of an exact recreation, but I think you kind of get the point. Pretty much anything, any shape, any pattern, as long as it's not like it's something that has a little bit absorbent, it should be able to kind of recreate that pattern. And you can incorporate it kind of into a monotype. Again, you can do this on top of the subtractive one. Kind of look at this one again. So you can see like right up in the corner there is where I did that anti-skid kind of texture. That came out, I think, pretty nice actually there. So you can also take like objects and just ink right on them directly. If you really want to get a really rich, like black from a texture, some people will go and they might get like a feather, and they might just go ahead and like roll up ink on a feather or another texture, and then just press that down like onto the glass. And you're gonna get a stronger, see how much darker that is now? So I can do the same thing with the cardboard too. I can roll up the sheet of cardboard if I wanted to, or this texture. Another thing that you can do is you can actually skip the whole glass, and you can just ink up a piece of this, whatever material it is, and you can just press like right onto your paper as well, and you can just do a straight impression. Then you can layer like a piece of plexiglass on top of that too. So there's lots of ways you can go about kind of adding these textures like into it. Another thing you can do is more like a stencil. So you can lay down like if it's something really thin like this potato cloth, you might even want to consider taping it kind of to your plate so it's flat. But you can take like this, and this is going to be a stencil in this case. The areas that are open will pick up ink, but the cloth itself is going to stop that ink from picking up. So you get kind of more like a negative of this on the plate. So let me go ahead and lift that up. So you can see now I got all these dots here that were just made by doing that. So you can use these as stencils as long as they're kind of a thin material. This stuff's kind of thick, so it might not work so good for a stencil because the ink's not going to be able to go through that into the glass. But you could also, I mentioned like a feather or like a leaf, something like that. You could take a leaf, you could just ink that up, and you could press it down on your paper. Or you could take the leaf, you can lay it down on your glass and roll around it, and then you'll get a stencil that's the shape of a leaf, like the exact shape of it. So other things you can do is you can also use painter's tape, and you could go ahead and create like, I don't know, like a pattern. If you wanted to shape out your image so it's not like a square, you put tape down all over the place where you don't want ink, and before you print, just peel that tape up, and you'll get like a completely clean, sharp, like white edge wherever that tape was too. So painter's tape is a handy thing to have for this as well. But you know, like I mentioned before, you can always kind of add to this as well. Like say I wanted to add some black areas to this, I can do that too. I don't have to just kind of stick with one or the other. It's a really versatile, kind of flexible, like medium, and it has a lot of potential. Go ahead and try like inking this one up and see what it does. So I really just want you guys to do a couple of experiments. Try to do one with the subtractive method. Maybe try to do one with more of the additive method, and just see what kind of materials you might have around your house that you think will make interesting textures or patterns. And go ahead and print a couple of them. I'm going to go ahead. This isn't going to be anything too hot, but I'll go ahead and print it just to show you what it looks like. Again, I need to kind of wash my hands real quick, so I got to step off camera. Hot second. Okay, so I'll blot one more sheet of paper. And we'll go ahead and print this. Yeah, go ahead. Just make sure you don't use anything for this that's valuable. You know, don't take like if your grandmother has like this doily that she knitted, you know, and it's in a frame on the wall or something like that. Don't like break the glass and get that doily out and use it, you know, for your project. I used to work in a frame shop, and I had to like frame quite a lot of doilies. I never really understood it, but don't do that. Don't use any family heirlooms. It's waterproof ink, or water-based ink, so it should come off, but I wouldn't I wouldn't bet on it. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and flip this over again. And my wax paper down. Now also keep in mind that you might purposely like want to make some part of your print darker than the other. You can do that with the spatula. You can decide like, you know, I want to make this area lighter on purpose. So that's something you'll probably have to get a feel for, but it can be done. So it's one advantage of printing by hand is you do control the value to a greater extent if you want to. All right, so let's take a look at this. All right, so that's actually kind of neat. Got some pretty cool pattern there. Where I did a little bit of the grayer, I rolled lightly. I got some kind of nice grays kind of down in there. So pretty much everything that I had on that glass, plexiglass, showed up in my print. So again, you know, this is something you could do. You could do like one layer that's just pattern, and then maybe do another one, or maybe you do like a figure or a tree or something on top of that. That could be interesting. So I could just ink up my glass again and do another one, like put it face down, and I could print right on top of that first layer if I wanted to. It has a lot of potential for kind of layering. I could do a ghost print of this one too, and put that on top. You know, let me try something real quick. So I have this ghost print over here. And I'll go ahead and try to layer this one. Just got this idea. Now, one thing is this paper is still damp, which is actually quite good, because if you were to stick this back into a water tray, since it's water-based ink, it's a good chance that ink is just going to start to lift off of it. So if you need to get your paper dampened again, you might be better off just kind of misting it lightly and letting it kind of absorb the water, but rather than putting it in a water tray, because that could cause the whole thing to just kind of just run on you. So I'm going to go ahead and put this pattern down and flip it around this way. You know, you can actually, let's just say you had like a drawing that you based your image off. I had a drawing of a head on here. I could like wipe away the area where I didn't want that pattern too. I'm going to lay this down. I'm going to stick it and rub it with my wax paper. And so I'm going to get this kind of light gray kind of pattern print over this light gray ghost proof. So it's like two ghost layers now. And when you guys look at this PowerPoint or this PDF I made about this process, you're going to see some pretty like amazing works. And you might wonder like, how the heck did they do that? A lot of it is people doing lots of different layers on top of each other. Okay, so yeah, so now you can see I incorporated that pattern from plate number 2 like onto plate number 1. Kind of looks like he's got smallpox or something kind of now, or chicken pox. But anyhow, you can see the two can be combined together pretty easily. So I don't really have a whole lot else to add. Like I said, I'm going to send you guys a lot of YouTube videos and a PDF. And I just hope you guys watch through all those. I'm going to call this email, I'm going to call it monomania. I get monomaniacal when it comes to this medium. These are all kind of jokes. You can laugh if you want. But let me go ahead and stop the shit.